So here we are, my friends, the end of 2024, and it's time for you and I, me being Simon Miller, to make some big decisions. Yes, I'm still wearing my Proteus Championship from Progress Wrestling here in the UK, even though I won it like 2 months ago. I don't care, man. I'm still so happy. I didn't bust my ass not to be a nerd. I went and did wrestling so I could be a bigger nerd than ever. Now listen, you are not going to agree with my best 10 wrestlers list, and I don't even agree with it sometimes because I wake up and my brain changes. And that's why we have to do a lot of honorable mentions for 2024 because a lot of people did kick ass. Bear with me. Harley Cameron, The Outrunners, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Chris Statlander, Carmella Hayes, Ethan Page, Joe Hendry, Mike Bailey, Jordynne Grace, Josh Alexander, Jey Uso, Darby Allin, Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio, Bron Breakker, Trick Williams, Damian Priest, Christian Cage, Adam Copeland, Solo Sikoa, and Takeshita. Like genuinely, you could argue whether they should or shouldn't be any of those lists, but all of them have done something super special during the last 12 months. So I wanted to give them a shout out. Otherwise though, sit down and grab your angry writing comment hand. And that way, you only have to use one hand. What the flub are we talking about? But here are the 10 best wrestlers of 2024. Number 10, Toni Storm. Sometimes wrestling isn't about wrestling. That sounds absolutely stupid, but Toni Storm is a prime example of this. Now we all know she's a great in-ring worker. That's not up for debate at all. But when she did first join AEW, well, something just wasn't clicking and it didn't make any sense. And clearly Toni knew this too, because all of a sudden she became timeless. This was late 2023, and then every single thing she did in 2024 was so damn entertaining that she went on to become the AEW Women's World Champion, and most of her skits were the highlight of whatever show she was on. That's why Mariah May has to get a mention too, because they went on this 9-month feud, or whatever it was, that culminated at All In 2024, and it just felt like such a huge deal because, again, Toni Storm had made herself the cornerstone of the division. Now maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit here, but that's half the fun of these videos. You have to put this kind of commitment up there with The Undertaker, because whether she was doing interviews or whether she was doing press conferences, she was timeless Toni Storm. And if you dare say anything else, she's coming to hit you with a shoe. It's just the sort of dedication and presentation that will take you to the next level, but you also have to hit a home run. That's why I feel like she deserves her due in 2024. My word, what a great example for everybody else. Number 9, Hangman Adam Page. Is Hangman Adam Page the true master of AEW? I think he might be. Because Hangman Adam Page is so good at his role that even when he turned heel, he was able to get boos, while at the same time the audience was going, well, I do kind of understand him. Swerve Strickland tried to steal his child. I would imagine that would get into your brain. That feud is absolutely one of the best of 2024 as well, and both guys deserve props. But Hangman didn't care. Whether he was working with Jay White or Jeff Jarrett, he just delivered class performances every single time. He always had a certain madness about him which kept you on the edge of the seat, because you're like, what's he going to do? And of course, there was that cage match and all the other ones with Swerve, which actually became disgusting. But as I've told you on other videos, if people want to be disgusting in wrestling, they should do it. We should never say no to anything. I mean, there are a few things, but I'm talking in hyperbole. I really think AEW should jump on this more in 2024, and Hangman Adam Page should be the world champion again. Because, when he lost it the first time, there was a little bit of controversy, but he is an OG guy, and he's better now than he ever has been, and his character is damn interesting. And that sort of rhymes, so it must be true, the cowboy rules. Number 8, Drew McIntyre. So I think 2024 may have been the best year of Drew McIntyre's entire career. That's saying something. The guy's been good for ages. Ultimately though, a freak accident with CM Punk during the Royal Rumble kick-started a program that was going to change all of our lives. And what did Drew do? He thought to himself, well, I'm a good in-ring worker, we've discussed that already, but why don't I go on social media and become the hater of the year? And even when CM Punk was injured and couldn't be on TV, Drew kept this thing alive, and once again he turned it into a program people are going to be talking about for ages. All of his matches with Punk ruled too, especially that Hell in a Cell match. Now, of course, we'll talk about this on other lists, but going back to the first sentence in this entry, I think that's McIntyre's best match ever. He also won the world title and then lost it instantly at WrestleMania. He became Mr. Money in the Bank. So if you wanted entertainment, you watch the Scottish Warrior. I really hope that WWE keeps up his momentum too when we do move into 2025, because he doesn't need Punk to carry this on. You just have to make sure he has a good opponent to get against. And I'm actually excited for what he does do next. because right now, Drew is on fire. 7, Rhea Ripley. The funniest thing about the end of 2024 is there is a contingent of people, and you're allowed your opinion, on the internet that's like, oh man, Rhea Ripley is booked too much like a badass. Even the character of Rhea Ripley is that she's meant to be a badass. I mean, the one I always go back to is Stone Cold Steve Austin, because he had a certain terror about him anytime he did walk to the ring, and I think that's absolutely something WWE should be doing with Rhea, because do not forget everything she did do in 2024. Everything she touched turned to gold, and this was also after she injured her shoulder for like 3 months. So I like the fact that WWE has to be creative when it does come to beating her, because she had that banger match with Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, and then went into everything with Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan, and do not forget how joyous that SummerSlam match was. It's like watching a live-action soap opera. You also had the excellent homecoming at Elimination Chamber with Nia Jax, and when we do give the belt back to Rhea Ripley, which may have already happened by the time you see this, you can turn her into a bigger star, because not only is she improving in front of our eyes, but again, go on the internet and see the love she does have. Her ceiling is great. The main thing I would like to carry on though is that even though she does have this hardened exterior, there's a real depth and realness to Rhea, which she does showcase a lot. And when you can have that kind of connection, well again, the world is your oyster. So she has also had her best year to date, and I'm a huge fan. And if you do want to build the entire division around her, trust me, she'll be able to do it. Number 6, Gunther. So Gunther is so good, The Undertaker can't stop talking about him. I mean, that is high praise. And I'm sure he was in plenty of best of lists when he was the Intercontinental Champion. But now, he's become the World Champion. He's just carried that on. And again, he's another guy. Right now, I think he's better than ever. That includes his promos too. In fact, he needs to calm them down a bit, because they're so funny he's going to turn himself babyface. Aside from feeling like the most legit guy in the company too, the Ring General even lost at WrestleMania 40 in that superb match to Sami Zayn. They went, yeah, I'm just going to become the King of the Ring and win the world title. And no one moaned. Nobody complained, because Gunther is always believable. He also knows how to get under your skin, and he had those 2 matches with Randy Orton, which I totally loved. And this was like a secret, quiet passing of the torch moment, but again, he totally deserved it. He also refuses to lower his standards, and it kind of feels like he's been doing this in WWE for ages, which isn't true. And there was everything with Damian Priest as well. And all I know is that when I do tune into Raw, there is a big chunk of my body that's like, man, I can't wait to see Gunther, and he never misses. I was gonna give it an up, but that's the wrong video, but he damn sure gets in this list. Number 5, Willow Nightingale. And I tell you right now, the only mistake with Willow Nightingale in 2024 was doing that match with Mariah May at WrestleDream for the world title, because I actually think when everyone decided, oh my gosh, she should be put in a world title program, Willow should have won. Which could also be a slogan for a t-shirt. And this is mostly because Nightingale doesn't miss either. I mean, not only did she have that terrific match with Mariah May, both there and in the Owen Hart Cup final, but do you remember what she did with Chris Statlander? That Street Fighter All Out should also be in the best matches of the year list. I've watched it twice now just to make sure, and it's violent, but it has story, and it makes you feel things. It's bloody tremendous. I think the most important part of 2024 when it came to Willow was giving her more mic time. Because that made you go, oh, well, what do you know? I like her even more. And what we've touched upon here is that we have someone who is essentially a 1980s babyface. And never overestimate that. If you can be a good person and everybody's behind you, well, run with that to the bank. So she's another person that I would absolutely throw to the top of the division. And her last 12 months have been so good. It excites me for what is next, because again, she didn't do one thing bad in 2024. It's exceptionally hard to pull off. Number 4, Will Ospreay. So this is gonna make no sense, but bear with me, I'll explain it. Nobody does Will Ospreay better than Will Ospreay. What? Because listen, there's a bunch of naysayers that like to go, oh man, William Ospreay is just a flippy dude, and he does like to flip around a lot, but he is basically a generational talent that has come up with a brand new wrestling ring style that nobody else is even close to copying. And what he did in 2024, he said, I'm gonna take on you, I'm gonna take on you, and I'm gonna take on you, and I am just gonna get better and better and better. The man is a human highlight reel. And when he left New Japan, of course everybody wanted him. They're not stupid. I mean, we can run through all the opponents that he did take on, such as Bryan Danielson and Takeshita and MJF and Ricochet and a bunch of other people I'm not even thinking about right now. Pac, for example, see, it just popped into my brain. And they were so damn joyous, and it sparked the conversation, well, how is Ospreay gonna top it this time? He's like, well, I'm just going to. And he did. He also had that terrific tag team match with Carl Fletcher against the Young Bucks. And look, I know, I get it. Some people are like, I don't like his style. You don't have to like his style, but just kind of take a step out of that bubble for a minute and see what he's doing. It's like a wrestling alien that was sent to Earth. Somehow, too, I think his last 12 months have been the best of his career, too, which is saying something. But for me, as a giant geek, it's because he did sign with AEW, meaning he had to cut American promos. He was doing that week to week. He came across like a real guy. His work in the MJF feud especially was great. How can you not respect that? So I really do think we're on the cusp of getting the best version of Ospreay, which means we should all be scared about 2025, because think about what he's just done. I don't think we're about to end. Number 3, Bryan Danielson. I mean, as he was preparing to go into semi-retirement in 2024, Bryan Danielson finally listened to everyone going, I think you're the best in-ring worker ever. He went, yes I am, but I'm not going to tell you, I'm going to show you. Seriously though, pick any show you want, a pay-per-view, Dynamite, Collision, Rampage. If Danielson turned up and wrestled someone, it wasn't just like a 3-star match. He would give you something totally unique. That's why we all gravitated towards him so much and went nuts when he did win the World Championship at All in 2024. Let's say those annoying 3 words, you deserve it. But he did this with Ospreay, Zack Sabre Jr., Swerve Strickland, and a bunch of other people. And again, just going back to that pay-per-view in Wembley Stadium, anything that makes me feel that warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum, well, I'm not going to get mad at it. In fact, I'm going to shout about it from the rooftops. The fact he then used his final fight at Wrestle Dream to be murdered by Jon Moxley and the Blackpool Combat Club only makes me like him more, because the day that he debuted all the way through to, when it was it, September 2024, the American Dragon has always done his things his own way, and he is a total inspiration. I promise you as well, when we get to 2025's list, we will miss his contributions. So this is a massive salute to somebody who is one of the best to ever do it. Number 2, Swerve Strickland. I mean, how can he not be here? If you wanted to sum up Swerve Strickland's 2024 in a sentence, you would go, well, he ascended to the top of the AEW card and he became a world champion. And everybody went, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, really, really good. He really did put the work in as well, which made it doubly satisfying to see. And don't forget that when he did sign, all around about 2023, there were some folk going, oh, it's not going to work, we've missed the boat here. We just had to be a little bit patient. I can't even imagine AEW throughout 2024 without him. And yes, we've mentioned it once, but you have to mention it here. His feud with Hangman Adam Page is going to be things that we talk about in 2047. You just know they're not done. The fans are totally behind him too, which is also another tick box, and of course he lost his world championship at All In. But that just means when he does win it back, and people do want him to bring it back, he's probably going to be even better than ever, because most of the time, it's your second reign where you truly establish yourself. Strickland is also so damn unique, and just has this incredible style. Look at some of the matches he had this year. Ospreay, Roderick Strong, Christian, Danielson, all of them bangers. He also got involved in all that Hurt Business pain clinic stuff, which I thought was some of the best stuff we did have throughout the end of the year. It gave me a bunch of matches I never thought I would see, and every single one of them delivered. Now, I know people like to go, oh man, WWE dropped the ball with Swerve Strickland. I think it's a Stone Cold situation when he left WCW. Sometimes you need this. And now for Swerve, there's no looking back. It's why he got the mega contract this year. Totally worth it. Number 1, Cody Rhodes. I mean, I couldn't help it. That ending of WrestleMania 40, well, it still sits inside me deep. It just made the WrestleMania 39 choice all the better too, because when we got to Philadelphia, we were all desperate for him to finish the story, which he did do. He became the WWE champion. Listen, I don't care. It means nothing to me. I had waters coming from my seeing devices. I mean, if nothing else, people really believed in this. That's what wrestling's all about. He also took over the reins from Roman wonderfully, which was always going to be hard. And I always like to drop the Fanatic stack. He was in the top 5. It wasn't the top 5 of wrestlers. It was Messi, it was Ronaldo, it was LeBron James, it was Toni. Then you had the American Nightmare. Don't walk into my house and go, oh, he's not a very good draw. I hope you're talking about on a piece of paper. In terms of kayfabe too, his successes were ridiculous, because not only did he win another Royal Rumble, but he went toe-to-toe with the flipping Rock. He also main evented WrestleMania and had terrific promo offs with the like of Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Drew McIntyre. And he had a great mini program with AJ Styles, and everything he did do with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, well, it was just brilliant, awesome TV. He moves into 2025 at the top of the tree too. I don't see how that stops anytime soon. As we talked about, Cody Rhodes is just the babyface's babyface. What I mean is the fans just love him, and you can't fake that, you can't manufacture it. It has to be real, and Cody has done that by going out into the wild and then coming back to WWE. I just thought in 2024, he was damn brilliant, and I will be a Cody crybaby for life. That's right. Now, of course, you didn't agree with me at all, which is great. So make sure you drop your top 10 wrestlers for 2024 down there in the comments. If you like the video, share the video and subscribe. And if you want more best of content for 2024, click the video on the screen right now. Otherwise, I massively appreciate you, my friends, and thank you for joining me over the last 12 months. We're going to do it all again in 2025 until one day we'll be dead. Shouldn't have said that. Happy Christmas and Merry New Year. I'm just gonna have some breakfast even though it's 5 p.m. Goodbye.